Lick the cream. What's up, everybody? Another impromptu stream. I've just gotten home from work. I was there for a good hour. I came in casually late, but there was a reason for that. Something special happened today. What's up, Bri? Good to see you. Yeah, buddy. How's my microphone? Why do I always think I have the worst mic in YouTube? Is it the microphone or is it my voice? Which is worse? What? Wait, what? Like, put the stream on hold? Wait. Or wait for something else. Pradeep, what's happening? Pradeep says, what once lost can now be found. You were the lost and now you are found. But what makes something lost? Something outside of ourselves. Did we ever really own anything to begin with? Is anything really ours? Except for what belongs in the heart? Everybody welcome. Yeah, buddy!
Yeah, buddy!
What is happening, my man?
I was watching the football, but I asked you to wait half an hour and you couldn't. It's calm.
You can come back. I didn't know
No,
what you meant.
it's
I
fine.
just saw wait, and I was like, yeah, no, you can come back. You can enjoy football. I'll be here for a bit.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry. The football will be fine. There'll be more football matches.
All right.
Okay. There is but one stream.
Yeah.
This will be my third stream of the day.
Well, you did too yourself this morning. I woke up and I was like, what the hell? Rich Mitch is streaming at 7 a.m.? Like my time.
That's right.
I thought outrageous.
Outrageous indeed. I was streaming at 12 and then 2 because I was doing my rotation and it absolutely wrecked us. And now here I am. My arse is killing us.
How was I didn't stick around for the whole rotation. How did it go?
It went well. It went rather well.
I know people were requesting that you do the rotation live, and you were like, no, and you were really against it. But I guess you got enough demand where you kind of you caved and you did it. Good for you. I think people they love content and they love consuming content, and they're curious about what you have to say and what you're wearing, and they just kind of want to be part of that process with you. So I'm glad that you did it. I watched the second one. I wasn't even awake for the first one that you aired, but
yeah,
second one.
You should have been at work though.
I should have been at work, but something really special happened today, so I was late. But I did notify them this time. Usually, I just kind of waltz in whenever I want, and then we discuss, my tardiness when I get there. But this morning I said, you know what? I won't be until lunchtime, which I came in well after lunch, to no fault of my own, but things were okay. We're all adults, so we handled it in an adult manner. But yes, I should have been at work, but I was home waiting for something, and in the meantime, I caught your stream. I caught your, what would you call it? Your rotation. Saw a lot of fancy things. I didn't see Le Leon. A little bit disappointed about that.
But not surprised.
I think I missed the whole Chanel transition.
I did not do them by house. Like, that would be an interesting way of storing them. And if I had a better storage solution, then that's probably what I would do. But I don't. So I usually do them by size and by... I usually organize them by size and season. So winter stuff went to the back, autumn stuff towards the front, and then a little bit of feng shui to try and get everything to fit. So that's basically how I do it. There's a bit of pragmatism thrown in there as well. So that's hello, Pet. So yes, when I was streaming it this morning, when I was doing it this morning, people got a little insight into the way my tiny mind thinks. and they seemed titillated. I saw some faces there who were like, good heavens, thank you for doing this at a reasonable hour, Australian time. So it was good. It was interesting because usually I do my streams at this time of night, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Is it easier for you to stream during the evening, or is it just kind of a better time to get the time zones all interacting at once? Because that way you can get like the North American as well as European.
I don't keep an eye on my analytics like some people do. Some people are very data driven, and because they take their channels like as much more like a business, and how they like monetize it, and that's fine. And so they will target their audience, but I don't. That said, one of the few analytic things that I do look at is where my audience is, and 75% of my audience is in North America. And I respect that. I respect that. Yeah, that's an overwhelming majority, and I respect that. So the happiest medium I can come to is to do them at like between 3 to 5 p.m. East Coast time, you know? So they will actually catch a notification. So even if they can't watch live, they will know that I've been live, and they can like watch it at their leisure. I beg your pardon. But I would stream later. If this was 10 years ago, I would be up till like 5 o'clock in the morning, regularly. Every night I was a night owl. And it would be like perfect for everybody in America, you know? They could have some late night entertainment, but I can't do that anymore. Like I get to sleep at like 12, 1 o'clock, latest my time now. Like it's 9:30 at the minute, and I'm getting ready to get into bed, you know? I'm getting ready to tuck up.
Are you cabbaged yet?
I'm not cabbaged yet, but I'm vegging, you know? I'm vegging at the minute.
You say half 9. That we're not accustomed to that. Half 9. Does that mean 9:30 or half?
Yeah,
9?
like half past 9. So half 9. And then you get 9:15, which is obviously 15 minutes past 9. And then you get 9:45. So you get 15 minutes until 10 o'clock. So quarter of an hour until 10. There was a moth be gone, you powdery little beast. But yes, yeah, that's like Tara's got fans all over the world, though. You see, most of mine are just in America. I think the Americans like mine because they like the Britishness of it. Do you know what I mean? Americans, like loads of Americans are Anglophiles. You know, like loads of them secretly love like a British hooligan.
Yeah, it's interesting. The majority of my viewers are from the US, and second are from the UK. Well ahead of Canada.
Outrageous. There's not many people in Canada, though.
It's not. YouTube isn't really a geographical thing. I mean, Perfume isn't a geographical thing. Just because I'm in Canada doesn't mean I don't expect Canadians to be watching me, and I'm not really surprised at that at all. It's a worldwide thing where everybody has access to. So, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's funny because like the three shops that I am heavily I don't want to say heavily involved in because I'm not involved in them, but like the 3 shops that I have bought much of my collection from are Canadian, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's right.
So that's an interesting dichotomy. It's an interesting thing, isn't it, that a lot of Canadians don't watch necessarily a Canadian YouTuber, but a British YouTuber buys a lot of his scents from Canada.
Excuse me. I had a sneeze there. There must be some dust in the air.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you had a good day?
I've had an exceptional day. Like
outrageous.
Really good day.
Really good day.
Yeah, I woke up and I was in bed and I turn on like everybody else. open up my phone, and there I see Rich Mitch streaming. And I thought, I get to lay in bed for a little bit longer because I know I'm not going to work for a bit because I'm expecting a parcel, a very big parcel, very massive parcel.
Very massive parcel. One very massive parcel.
Right. So it was supposed to be here by 9. The parcel was supposed to be here by 9. So I waited, and I called work. I texted work, and I said, won't be until lunch. Boss, I won't be until lunch. And there's no response, right? Lunch comes, and the boss is like, it's lunch. I was like, oh, shit. My parcel isn't here. And I know we have deadlines. And I want to help out as much as I can. I want to be part of the team. But I also, I can't leave because my parcel is coming, and I don't want my parcel to disappear.
Well, that's right.
Right. So, and you can't just leave it at the door because it's a very costly parcel, and
shipping's outrageous these days, isn't it? You can't just leave that kind of money on the door.
Well, yeah, it was about $4,000 just to ship this parcel over. So
whoa,
definitely,
I feel that one.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to lose out. But yeah, the parcel arrived, and I haven't been able to open it yet because the parcel's a little bit complicated. I need some tools to dig into this thing. It's not like a regular box where I can cut open the tape, right? There's locks on it. I think I probably need pliers, a hammer, and a chisel before I can get in there. So it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease, some muscle, a little bit of time. But there's 2 parcels, very large parcels. I couldn't even carry them in here. They're stored in my garage right now. So.
Yeah. Was it a parcel that you've been looking forward to?
Yeah. I've been manifesting this parcel for about 2 years now, thinking about it every single day, contemplating it, working on it. There's many pieces. This is one part of the parcel. Other parts have been coming, within the last weeks, months. They've arrived, but the final part of the parcel is here.
Oh,
the
shit.
Final part, the missing piece, is finally here. And it feels good. It feels very good. It feels very good. To be honest, I wasn't sure how to feel. It was a little bit confusing because it's something like I was talking to you today. It's like, planning on having a baby, and then the baby comes, and all that kind of worrying and planning, and it's all for good reason, but it's all over, and now where do you go from here? Now you have this baby that you need to take care of. So now there's another process to it. Everything changes.
Yeah. So fucking how many people are here?
63 people here. Have they licked the cream?
Have they licked the stream?
There's only 17 licks.
17? It's 1 in 4.
18 licks.
More licks. Lick the stream for Eugene. Where are you going to reveal what the parcel was to it on this stream? Once you get the requisite number of licks.
Do you think they've not caught on yet?
I wouldn't have thought so.
It doesn't seem like they've caught on.
No, I think you should tell them before they do.
You think I should tell them?
Reveal it to them. Make them explode. Do you want to?
Well, my exquisite pain has arrived today in a box, in a very large box. 2 boxes.
It was always here.
It was always here the whole time, which is interesting.
I know. I said that to you earlier, and
Yeah, you said that, and it stopped me in my tracks, and I thought, that's amazing, because right now is all that exists, the way you perceive life. And now that it's here, it almost feels that way, like it was meant to be. It was supposed to be. It's always been, maybe not physically, but in another realm.
Which
And
realm?
you know, you can't go back. You can't take it back. You can't undo what happens.
No, but can you affect the future? Is there a future? If everything is now, if what you do now is all that matters, and does that mean that you can affect the future, or
You
does that
can
mean you
create,
can't
you can
affect the
create,
future?
you can carve your path.
Okay, so can you plan?
You can carve your path by taking action in the now, by doing, by predicting, by manifesting.
And is that what you have done?
I would think so. I would think that's what I've done. That's exactly what I've done.
And how does it make you feel to have known that you have actually done this?
It makes me feel fantastic. I feel great. I feel like I've accomplished something quite large. It's a physical feat. It's not something that I would have even given it a thought, 7 years ago when I started a YouTube channel. It wasn't even a thought, but it was a process of changing beliefs, putting thoughts into action, conquering procrastination.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah, it was for me too. I was the king of procrastinating. Like, my procrastination knew no horizons. Like, it was infinite, and I could waste time as much as time was given to me.
Where do you think that came from? Because that's a very specific trait to have. Procrastination. Some people say that they can be mean. Some people can say that they can be violent, and they feel as though it's like bred into them. Not that I'm saying that you're any of those things. What I'm saying is, if you feel like you were one of your biggest skills was to be procrastination, where do you think that came from?
I can only speak for myself. I think my procrastination came from fear, and I didn't want to be in a conscious reality, because in consciousness you feel, and it was easier not to feel. It was easier to ignore, and that's where my procrastination came from, because I'd much rather ignore than to feel or be aware of.
Yeah.
Because when you're aware, when you're conscious of presence, when you're connected to presence, when your mind and your body are connected to presence, is where things start to bubble up. Feelings of the
Okay.
past, fear,
You have
insecurity, trauma. So that was a
you
big one
actually
for
have
me to
to you
come up.
have to actually face things that you have to face reality.
Right. And those come
Mhm.
up. And to conquer those, you need to go into them. You can't go around them. You need to go and sit inside of those feelings and befriend them and hold them and make space for them and realize where they had come from. So that
Okay.
was a huge, that took me years to discover. That was part, it was a large part of my self-discovery, is to go into those. And it was hard. It was very hard. It was been the most hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I have no regrets. It is probably one of the most rewarding things that I've been through, is to overcome fear.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're there now, or do you still feel like it's an ongoing process?
No, I feel like I'm in an excellent place. Very good.
You feel like you could ever fall back into it?
That's an yeah, absolutely you can with distraction. I think connection is, connection to consciousness is a lifelong process. It's a lifestyle. It's a daily thing, and you just as easily as you can go back and forth very easily. The mind is a very malleable thing, and you can create new pathways all the time. You can change your thinking. Thinking is very pattern based. Feelings are very pattern based. And we all think every day, we think in the exact same patterns. We think the exact same thoughts. And it's very hard to get out of those patterns. It takes a lot of conscious work on self.
Do you think that today is symbolic or significant in that regard? And do you think that today is something, because I feel like today is something that you'll never be able to have taken away from you, whatever happens to you in the rest of your life. You will always have today. And I don't mean that in like a spiritual sort of way. I mean that literally, like what is like what you will reveal about today is something that will never ever be able to be taken away from you.
Absolutely. Today was kind of, my perfumes have arrived, for those that haven't caught on. They've arrived on a massive truck, and I spent a little bit of a while with the guy getting them down and hauling them into the garage. It's 2 massive pallets. And I sat there and I thought for a second, like, this is very deeply rewarding. It feels like a birth for me, a birth of a child, or a birth of something that I've put a lot of care and effort into. And, I'm going to cherish this for this moment. This moment is very important to me. And it's finding myself in moments that I find myself most connected to myself, to reality, to God, to life, to love, to awareness, right? To everything. But I also know, like, this moment isn't going to last forever, because nothing lasts forever. Everything passes and changes. So I was able to kind of cherish that for, several moments, and that too, it's past, it's gone. That moment it was very fleeting, like every other one. The truck is gone. The perfumes are in the garage. I went to work. I'm back here now with you guys. In this moment, it's a very new moment. It's a very different moment. But yes, I very much was able to appreciate that one moment that came and passed. Gillen says if it lasted forever, it wouldn't be special. Very much so. Very much. And good moments come and they pass, and as the same, bad moments will come and they too shall pass. Very much like the weather. Nothing lasts forever.
I mean, clearly you've never been to England with the rain, because that shit lasts forever. I can tell you. Jesus. It's rained all day here today. But sometimes it's warm. But bloody hell. It's remarkable how much of like our time we spend getting wet. Unbelievable, really. Good Lord. I don't recommend it. So,
I've never been to England, but I plan on coming soon. There's a few guys in the chat that might be interested, but we'll have to
Houdini. Get in touch with Houdini, get him to come as well.
That would be awesome.
Imagine.
Yeah, maybe we can plan like a grumpy old men tour or something.
Yes, I've been trying to get Ramsey to come as well. I think Ramsey's not going to be available until like March or April next year, though.
Well, maybe we can do it again, or plan something with Ramsey.
Yes, that'd be great. Well, Ramsey's back in the office now. He says like he's not able to work from home like he has been. So that's not great. But yes, it will be great. It will be great when you can just come over, and then we can finally meet and touch. Do you think like the universe might just like capsize if we eventually meet?
Yeah, it would erupt. There would definitely be several eruptions.
It'd be
I can feel it
absolutely
brewing right
hilarious.
now. I think it would be a very special moment. It would be for me. As
It would be for me as well. I would think there'd be tears.
there might be, yeah. I cried today. I cried out of joy.
Did you have a nice happy cry?
It was, it was a very good cry, and it was just kind of a reminder of everything that I've been through, and what I've put my heart and soul into, and it's just a reminder that good things can happen when you put good energy out there.
That's kind of what I was getting at when I was saying that nobody could ever take this away from you. This is something that Eugene has done for Eugene, by Eugene. And like you say, whatever happens to you from now on, this is yours, and no one can ever take it away from you. You paid for it yourself. You directed it yourself. You started it yourself. It was your idea. It was your determination. It was your vision. It was, like you say, it's all yours. Others have helped, and because you'll always get help from other people, because we are social animals. We are humans, and we do need other people. No man is an island, and all of that sort of thing. But in the end, everybody has to do things for themselves. So you will always be able to look back and say, I did that.
Yeah. That was very important for me as well, to do it alone, and not have to check in with anybody and somebody tell me, no, we can't do that because of cost or idea, or not agreeing, this way I can make every decision on my own.
Have you ever done anything like that before, where it's been all Eugene?
Sorry?
Have you ever done anything like that before, where it's been all Eugene, all or nothing?
No. It's usually been like me putting into other people, like helping other people, or which isn't I think it's great to help other people, but for the first time, this is something that I've been able to do for myself, right?
Yeah.
Take care of myself and do what Eugene seems fit, what makes Eugene happy, what Eugene wants to do, what Eugene aligns with Eugene's vision, right? Instead of kind of supporting somebody else, be it in whatever manner, whatever relationship.
Yeah. A special feeling. It's been a joy to watch, and be around. Me and you were talking on the phone earlier about how it was your thing, and how rewarding it was for me to be near you, in proximity, watching you, and being able to be with you, like with Galen as well, and with Thomas, and being able to be there with you, and just be part of it, like a little bit, and it was, I found it a really rewarding experience to watch, like, another man go through something like that. And if anything, I mean, I'm not going to set up my own perfume brand, you know what I mean? But if I ever want, like, you know what I mean? Like, the point I'm trying to make is, if I ever do anything similar to this sort of thing, not even setting up a business, but I don't know, anything, if I fancy doing something for myself one day, then it's like, it's good to have like a reference, and to see that not only can it be done, but that someone has done stuff like this before, and you were there, and that you know it's possible. Knowing stuff is possible is as important as being able to do things. You know, trying is, it's because it's the hope. You know.
Absolutely. And I hope by me doing this, it would inspire somebody else to follow or pursue a dream, regardless of if it's making perfume or knitting or crocheting, right? Whatever it is, anything is possible. But it's also been, beautiful for me in a sense to have you guys part of this as well. It makes it even more special sharing, small details and, little inside stuff that I'm not able to share with like publicly quite yet at that time, and having you guys give your input and suggestions and ideas, which played a lot, you guys played a large part of this. This isn't just mine, it's part of your guys's as well.
Yeah.
So it's great as a human to be able to share that and celebrate together.
Yeah.
Especially between people that are as close as we are.
Yeah.
And I tell other people, and it's, they're not into perfume, and you can see they have no interest, right? There's absolutely no interest, and they just kind of nod and agree, which is, it's fine. It's almost what you accept or expect. It's what you expect, but it's been a wonderful process.
Yeah. It's been
a beautiful process is what it's been. It's been a lot of learning. And you know what? I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying, they really admire what I've been through, what I've shared, especially from men. And a big part of this, the first perfume, La Douleur Exquise, the exquisite pain, the pain of a broken heart, is sort of a way for me to give men a platform to be able to become vulnerable and talk about their issues, because it's not common, it's not acceptable in today's society for men to show emotion. And that's been a big part of it for me as well. If I can come on YouTube and talk about my journey, my pain, my my emotion, hopefully it will help somebody else, because by talking about it, that itself will help you. Even if somebody doesn't understand what it is you're going through, just by talking about it, it can help. So hopefully,
you said today something. You said something today to me about starting a platform for some men to be able to share their experiences in life and their pain and stuff like that, so that people can, like men especially, would feel it was okay to talk about it and stuff like that. Is that the perfume, or is that something you want to set up separately?
Well, right now it's the perfume. I'm not sure what the future holds. I'll tell you, that seed has been planted, though. I'm not sure where it would grow from here. We can water that seed, and we can, throw some light on it, so throw some sunshine. But if that becomes the thing, it's very possible.
Yeah.
I still have I have a lot of friends that reach out almost every day, and they kind of share their story. They're not comfortable yet to come out and talk about their feelings openly, publicly, but that's okay. Just by opening up to me it's a start. it's a start. And I think they feel comfortable with me because I've already talked about my things publicly. So it gives them strength. It gives them courage.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I think we're in a really fucked up time right now where people are getting away from themselves more than ever. They're afraid to become vulnerable from being shamed or guilted, right? Because the moment you do, there are spaces in this community that will shame you, or they'll try to shame you for speaking your truth.
Yeah.
So it's touchy. It's a very touchy subject to be vulnerable. But it's also a great sign of courage and strength.
I think it's a necessity. I think, excuse me, yeah, I think it's something that is going to have to be. It's going to have to be something that becomes the norm. Otherwise, there's going to be problems. I think it's a lot easier in 2022 to speak about these things, and there's a lot more help. It's just about making sure help gets to the people who need it, you know?
Part of the problem is a lot of people don't know they need it.
Yeah, a lot of people won't accept help.
Yeah, they struggle with that, or they deny it.
Yeah.
Almost like it's a weakness. And I know that firsthand. I thought seeking help was a sign of weakness, that I can just plow through everything that comes my way. And you probably can, but it's an uphill battle. It's a struggle. It's like carrying weights uphill when it doesn't have to be that way. You can very much take the same path, but you walking downhill instead, and the sun is shining.
Yeah. It's like, well, I think Churchill described it as like carrying a large lump of ice to the North Pole. You know? Imagine just carrying a fucking massive boulder of ice to the North Pole. It's pointless and it's hard, and it would be a lot easier if you just didn't have to do that, because there's already a lot of ice at the North Pole.
Absolutely. And it's a long way there.
And it's a long way.
It's a very good metaphor, to be honest.
Yeah.
For the struggle. You know, men and women struggle from different things in our society, the society that we've created. I feel like women come together much better than men do. And that's accepted for men to support each other in times of need, while men, they tear each other down. That's what we do. We tear each other down.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And you don't need to. You don't need to do that to feel better. You know? Excuse me, I'm just turning over.
No way, women hate each other. You know, people in general hate each other, but I think as a society, women heal. They have this knack for healing and being in tune with their emotions and connecting with them and knowing what needs to be healed, where instead the masculine, we ignore that and we lash out because we're ignoring it. We're subconsciously lashing out from the things that we're ignoring, from the fear, from the hurt, from the pain, without knowing what it is we're doing.
Yeah. Oh. So, just to change the subject a little bit, would you care to inform the people about, now that you have the fragrances, when you are planning on making them available for general sale?
You know, that's a really good question, Rich. That's a really good question. And you know, I can just press a button and they would go live right now.
Oh wow.
And you know, I'm gonna hold on to this for a little bit.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Maybe next week.
Ooh, it's getting close.
Maybe next week. You know, I just kind of want to enjoy this to myself.
Yeah.
Because right now, you know, they belong to me. And the moment I press that button, they're gone. They belong
Yeah.
to the world to be judged, enjoyed, criticized, whatever it is, just like any art form. And I think I want to hold on just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. They'll be available on, you'll be able to find them on lesupstoday.com. It's privatized right now. I haven't launched it, but just simply lesupstoday.com and you'll see it probably in the next, let's say early next week. What are we, Wednesday, Thursday? Wednesday. Let's say Monday or Tuesday.
wow.
Bobby says just show the bottles.
You can't show the bottles.
Everything's wrapped up in a pallet. I haven't torn open the pallet yet. I need to get like a pry bar, a chisel, a hammer.
And the boys.
The boys, yeah, I kind of want to have the boys here to experience it as well. My son, my oldest, he texted me. He's been texting me about perfume a lot lately, and I was like, "What's going on with this guy?" Like, he's taken on a lot of interest in fragrance, which I love. Okay, I love. Last week he texted me. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I got another bottle of Sauvage."
Oh God.
I was like, "Okay, that's good. You know, good. I love it. You know, we all have to start somewhere. You know, there was a time where I was wearing Dolce Gabbana, the one, right? We all got to start somewhere. You know, there was a time where I was wearing La Mole and friggin' Hugo Boss bottled. Actually, I had 2 bottles of Hugo Boss bottle. I always hated it. I was gifted them by girlfriends. And even as I was wearing them, I was like, God damn, I hate this damn perfume. Yeah, but you know, his friends call him man whore. He's already known as the man whore, but he's like, Dad, like people love it. He gets complimented all the time. And I was like, dude, you could literally roll around in shit and people would compliment you. Like, you know, you brush your teeth, you have white teeth, you have like long flowing hair, you got muscles. Like you could literally wear Hugo Boss bottled and you get complimented. Whatever you wear. You could wear like skanky oud.
Yeah.
But then he messaged, he's like, last week, did your perfumes come? I was like, no, not yet. Soon. Why? He's like, I'm just asking. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were interested. He's like, and his response is like, of course I'm interested. I was like, damn, like I had no idea because he never talks about them or hardly, right? So it's good. It was good.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
It was good.
It's getting soon. It is getting soon. Have they smelled them?
Yeah, they're very familiar with them. Everybody has a different favorite. There's not like one concise winner, like with my sister and brother-in-law and nieces and parents and whoever. They all have different favorites.
Yeah.
I got something in the mail today.
Oh. Something else.
I haven't opened this and I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but I'll do you know, a separate video on this.
Okay. What is it?
This is from our good friend Ramsey, and it is samples.
Ramses.
Ramsey. And I think there is samples of Balenciaga Perfume in here. Portos.
Not huge on Portos.
Sorry?
I'm not huge on Portos.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. I prefer Koros. If I'm going to wear that stuff, I'm going to wear Koros. It's very similar. I prefer Koros. It's thicker and dirtier, basically.
I don't remember what else. He's like, what do you want to try? What haven't you tried? And I was like, damn. So we talked about some things. I think you put some vintage Antaeus Sport in here. I'm just going through our comments, but I think it was a voice message. So there are some vintages and classics and really obscure things. I do look forward to it. Catherine says, I am aggravatingly, you are aggravatingly, just like my husband. Aggravating.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll let Galen push the button. Galen, do you want to push? Galen's always pushing buttons. Maybe we'll let Galen push the button.
Galen has a button. He needs to be pushed. We should push him.
What's up, Mr. Smelly? Good to see you. Mr. Smelly's in the house.
Galen, I says I cannot do that.
Why can't you do that, Galen? Galen, don't ever say I can't when you can. I know you can. We'll let Galen push the button somehow. He's good at pushing buttons. I got something else. Have you smelt this?
Have I smelt what? What have I not smelt? What is it? No. I was going to go into the town today. I'm going into the shopping mall tomorrow to meet Richie G and his wife. And I might see if I can drag them to the Hermes counter and get a sample or have a whiff of it. I'm not hopeful, I won't lie to you.
Hang on a second. Hang on.
Galen's a lurker.
Did you catch that?
Did I catch what? Don't you pick on my favorite curly-headed lurker?
Oh, you didn't hear that? Did the chat hear that?
Galen's a lurker.
Galen is a lurker. Galen is a lurker. She's not wrong, to be fair.
There's lots of lurkers.
Galen's a lurker. Galen's a lurker.
Yeah, that is absolutely saved.
Outrageous.
What's everybody wearing? What are you wearing, Rich?
Today I wore green Irish tweed.
Is that part of your rotation or end of the month, beginning of the month?
That is because on the 1st of March, I wear green Irish tweed to symbolize the beginning of spring. And on the 1st of September, I wear tobacco oud. So tomorrow, I will be wearing tobacco oud come rain or shine. It is one of those days. It only comes twice a year when I know what I am going to wear before I wake up that morning. And it's not dependent on the weather. And it only happens twice a year. Excuse me. Oh.
What's everyone else wearing? It's been years since I've worn tobacco oud.
I love tobacco oud. It's fucking brilliant, Mike.
Have you tried ombre leather parfum?
Yes, I've got a sample.
Do you have any of the ombre leathers?
I've got ombre leather. I've got the original re-release, so the eau de parfum, not the parfum.
Did you ever try Amber Absolute?
I've got a bottle.
Oh yes, that's right. You do got a bottle. and you really like it, don't you?
I really like it. It is basically tobacco oud without the tobacco or the oud.
I was just going to ask you, do you see the connection with tobacco oud?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see the connection.
Do you feel like they share a base?
I don't know that they share a base, but they definitely share a skeleton or a structure. You know, they definitely share. Basically, like I said, it is tobacco oud is basically, Amber Absolute, which came first, is basically tobacco oud without the tobacco or the oud.
Or the whiskey.
Or the whiskey. It's got all those herbs and spices.
What about Sahara Noir? Do you find a connection between the three of those?
Oh,
I know you have all three, right?
I do have it. I'd have to get up and smell it. Not off the top of my head, though.
I see a connection between all three, and it's probably the reason they discontinued both Amber Absolute and Sahara Noir. There's no need for having three very similar perfumes in one line.
Well, Sahara Noir, right? Sahara Noir was marketed bizarrely towards women. Sahara Noir should have been in the private blend, the Privé's,
I mean, it's almost close to Amber Absolute. One would be forgiven for believing it was Amber Absolute.
Oh, let's get up and have a smell, shall we? Oh, I'm absolutely battered off sitting on this bloody chair today. It's not this bloody moth is having my life. So where are we? Where's Sahara Noir? Oh, it's right down the side. Let's have a look at you. Where you at? Excuse me. There is, what are you, Patchouli Kosher? And I've gone the wrong way, haven't I? Have I?
Sorry?
Oh, I've gone down the wrong alley. I'm barking up the wrong tree. I've gone down the wrong alley. I've done it wrong, unfortunately. One moment, please, as I put everything back that I've just pulled out. And I remove Eau de Beau and Kritzia Moods. I know you're a huge fan.
I want my money back.
I don't know if Duncan's awake yet.
Yeah, he's on an interesting schedule.
He is on an interesting schedule.
There's been times where I've been streaming like 6 a.m. and he's on. So that would be like 3 a.m. California time.
Yeah.
I'll be like, dude, what are you doing here? And he works the night shift, obviously.
Yes, he's worked constant night shifts as well for years. Some people just like night shift, You get extra money for it too.
Yeah, there's premium. I remember being a young adult, and I used to change jobs. And every time I changed a job, the one thing I said to them in an interview is, I do not work nights. I do not work afternoons. I was young and I was going out every single night, and I like to have a good time. And there would be many nights where I'd go out and I wouldn't end up even going home. I'd end up going straight to work. And I'd be like, I don't work nights. And one guy hired me, right? And after 3 weeks, he's like, comes to me on a Friday and he's like, starting Monday, you're going to work nights. You're starting nights. I was like, okay, no problem. I came in the next day, I took my toolbox and I left without saying anything. And he ends up calling me. He's like, where are you? And I said, dude, I told you I don't do nights. I'm not working nights. This isn't the conversation. We're not having like a debate. I just don't work nights. I'm way too young for that.
Yeah. You want to do shit.
Yeah, I want to do shit. And everything happens at night.
Yeah. That's tobacco. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's tobacco oud. That's Amber Absolute, and that's Sahara Noir. Oops. I will now smell them all from the cap. That is full and rich and a little bit sweet. That whiskey is absolutely beautiful. Here is Amber Absolute.
You get fecal from tobacco oud.
No, but I do know what you mean. I get this kind of wet, brown, moist, like denseness, like a poo, you know. But I don't necessarily get poo in and of itself. I get the consistency of poo. There's Amber Absolute. That's very dry, I think. And then Sahara Noir. Oh, get off. There you are. Yes. So there is much more of a resemblance between Sahara Noir and Amber Absolute than there is between Sahara Noir and Tobacco Oud.
Okay.
Right?
So they're closer. They're much closer.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This Sahara Noir is outrageous. Very dry. Sorry,
Yeah.
there I am. Big duck.
Have Sam saying, do the Balenciagas now.
Do the Balenciagas now.
Like open Ramsey's package.
Yeah, go on.
I think I'll wait. I'll wait.
Hey, wait.
I'll do it in a solo video so people can find it. Tara says I used to work 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. when I was a bartender. I didn't mind those. But bartending is like having fun. It's like socializing and being out. It's almost like not even work.
Yeah. You can get drunk at work as well.
I would see it. It's
You
like
can also
getting paid to have fun.
Whoops.
How would you rate those? Could you rate them, Rich?
What, Sahara Noir, Amber Absolute, and Tobacco Oud?
Yeah.
So rate them how? Like what scale?
From
what
favorite,
sort of matter?
From least favorite to favorite.
So favorite would be Tobacco Oud. Right, Tobacco Oud, then Amber Absolute, then Sahara Noir. I'm not as huge on Sahara Noir as I thought I was going to be.
Is it because Sahara Noir is more transparent than the other two?
Probably. I like the thickness and the weight and the heft and the drag that is on Tobacco Oud. Tobacco Oud's got mass, you know, and Sahara Noir is much drier, much drier.
It's almost a transparent perfume, but it does smell awfully similar to those other two.
Yeah, it's got the same skeleton, you know, but
do you
just
find
that Tobacco Oud's got a lot of weight.
You find Tobacco Oud heavier than Amber Absolute?
Absolutely, at least twice as thick. Because
damn, I don't remember that.
I'll tell you why. It's because of it's got this wet tobacco, and it's also got this sweetness to it, right? And it's got this weight, like the weight, the heft, the obesity of it cannot be denied. You know,
yeah,
it's a very dense, rich perfume, very thick, very nice. I love it. We should do well. No, sorry. I was going to say, can you remember when me, you, and Galen did that video about which fragrances we're looking forward to wearing this spring? This was like 6 months ago now. More, probably.
I think it was a year ago, dude, on my channel.
Yeah.
I think it was at the beginning of spring of this year, spring, a year ago, a year before that. So like 16 months ago.
Outrageous. Dear me.
Galen probably had short hair and a goatee back then.
Lord, can you imagine? That is a frightening prospect. A frightening prospect. Galen without his locks, his curls, if you will. You know, that is terrifying.
I have something here which I think Ramsey may have sent you, and it is a creed, and it is called Venetia, and it is a vanilla and what feels like a white floral. And Ramsey sent me this, and he swears by it. He absolutely swears by it. He loves it. Oh, Eugene is off. I wonder where he's going. I bet he's going to just go and open his haul. I bet that's what he's done. He's going to go and open his pallet. And he just didn't say anything, but he just couldn't wait any longer. So I'm afraid it's just us now, friends. Oh, he's still here. It's I should have told him you were not a morning person. Better come off as get up and go rather than a party animal. Eugene may not remember it anymore since he's been thinking about his own sense. Yeah, really. Eugene has returned. A knife.
A knife.
Knife.
I want to see what he sent. Well,
I'm intrigued by what he sent.
That's for another video.
No, I understand. It's intriguing to see what he sent there. Isn't it strange how you don't get any perfume for years? Like, you haven't bought any perfume for months and months, and then, like, you get what? Like, over 1,000 bottles in one day? and then you also get a package off, like, one of your mates from Texas. Right? Isn't it always the way?
You called it the biggest perfume haul ever.
Yes, that's right. It's even bigger than the biggest vintage haul ever. Except
how many likes? We're at 49 likes. How many likes do we need to open this package?
69.
69 likes. That's like 19. All right, 20 more likes when we open the box.
What's in the box?
Samples from Ramsey. In the meantime, we'll light one of these.
What is this?
And this is a Philly Berry Blunt.
Oh shit! Are you getting high?
No, it's a cigar.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I thought you were just like smoking a straight up blunt.
It smells really good.
Catherine is. I'm confused, Mitch. In my experience, poo has lots of different consistencies. Think more of wet poo.
Well, I imagine he's talking about his own poo, like from his own experiences of poo.
It could just be. I mean, this is just like we are literally talking shit. This is just what's going on the stream right now. There are 69 people watching, so that's good. How many likes? Yes, you can get another 30 and go on. In tribute to Joseph Cannoli.
There you go. Did you watch Cannoli's review of La Doulette Exquise the other night?
Oh, I said this to you the other day, man. Joey Cannoli should start an ASMR channel. He'd make a fortune. He'd make a fucking fortune. Put that music on that was in the back of the video, right? And then just like, I don't know, just talk about peace and shit like that, or fragrances, or anything. He could have people on. He could have like an ASMR stream once a week. He'd make a killing.
I really enjoy that, not just because of the bias of my own perfume, but the way he presented it. And I had no idea that was happening or was going to happen. It wasn't planned at all.
It was a beautiful thing. Like, I really just like quite enjoyed just sitting there chilling, listening to Joey talking about perfume in a very relaxed manner, because it was a different facet. Usually Joey's like that. It's like it's bang, bang, bang. Like, it's one thing after another. He's very witty. He's very quick. Yeah. You hear him strip it back, pare it back, and to just beat. And him and Joe, obviously, him and Joe Anthony have got like a rapport. They're friends, and they're always like they're back and forth really good. But they both were in the same place, like mentally and emotionally, and
and like they were smelling the fragrance and they were chilling, and it was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. I think I've watched it more than once. You know,
He's got a really good nose too, an underrated nose.
yeah, I've said this to you before. I think like Joey doesn't do many perfume reviews anymore, but when he does, he always does a good perfume review. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's got a better nose than
most
influencers. They just kind of read off of
read
the notes off without kind of discovering the fragrance for themselves, because brands don't release everything. You know, there's a lot more notes that go into a perfume than what they release.
Yes, you are right, of course. And Joey's is a very descriptive person, as we know, when he's talking about other things as well, not just perfume. He's a very descriptive man.
He really can express himself.
Yeah.
Better than most people.
Yes, that is true. Very true. And he does, and it's good. It's nice to see and hear.
It was good to see Rudy on there as well.
Yes, Rudy was there. Someone I think I remember somebody telling Rudy to jump into a bush. So Rudy was walking around in the dark, or it was either Rudy jumped into a bush or Rudy like knock on someone's window. It was something like that. You know what I mean?
It's like he was walking through town and one part was ghetto and he crosses the street and you have these beautiful homes there. It reminds me of my pit stop in Detroit. We were coming back from Florida. We drove home and I had to stop. My gas tank was on empty and I was like in Detroit City and I needed gas. I wouldn't have made it to the next exit. And I get to the gas station and a lady comes over to me and she says, "Get out of here now. Like, you need to leave right away." I knew very clearly what she was saying. And I couldn't leave. I wouldn't have made it to the next ramp. I needed gasoline.
Yeah.
But she did put a little bit of fear in. She wasn't threatening me, but she was warning me. She's like, "It's not safe for you to be here."
Outrageous.
And I felt like I was in a completely different world.
Yeah.
Like the cars were run down. They were like rusted and all the windows were boarded up. Even the gas stations are different. You walk in and the clerk is behind like 3-inch thick glass window. I'm not used to that here.
No, I'm not used to that here. I mean, to be fair, I live in Britain where everything looks like a chocolate box. Do you know what I mean? But like we don't have that kind of shit here. But I mean, you've got to remember, Detroit has had a hell of a fall from grace.
Yeah, man. The houses in the area, they were all boarded up. They were run down. The grass in the lawn was like 3 feet tall. It was very strange. The homes were abandoned. You know, Detroit took a huge hit during during the recession. They went from a 2 million population to just below like 900,000 people overnight with globalization, all those plants shutting down. We lost a lot of work to Mexico, to China, to Brazil.
It's not nice, is it, when you think of it like that? Because I mean, it's like when you hear about one person losing their job, it's like that's tragic. When you hear about 1 million people losing their jobs, it's like it's hard to personalize it but then when you think about it, every single one of them is a person like you. You know, you're a person, and it's very. Sorry,
am I?
Oh, apparently, allegedly, I've heard rumors. Rumors do indicate that you are indeed actually a person. And it's like
it's scary when you got a family and bills and the mortgage and young children, and then you need to.
And all you've ever done, because Detroit is like a one-trick pony, or it was.
it was cars. You made cars, like Motor City. You know,
Yeah.
you made cars. That's what people did. You were born in Detroit. You made cars. You know, very little else to do in that city.
The automotive industry is really what makes the world go round. It's what drives people to work. Like, look at the expense involved in driving a car.
Yeah. There's an entire economy built up around it, hasn't there? But whether that's going to last for much longer, because you've got basically the death knell of the internal combustion engine is loud at the minute, you know, like combustion engines won't be around in 40, 50 years. Britain has committed to stop producing combustion cars by the year 2030 or 2035.
It's the same here,
So
2035, I believe. Everything will be electric. The
Yep.
things that we're working on now, we're working on hybrids. We're making chassis for hybrid Cadillacs. Cadillac is in this huge race to be the first to put out like one of the big trucks, like an electric truck. And that's kind of the rush that we're facing at work now.
Which you don't want to be part of.
I almost think that they're changing. The changing over is more for economics, right? To keep money flowing through industry than anything else.
No, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah.
How many likes are we at?
I don't know.
59. I guess
How
we
many?
don't want it. 59.
Is that all? Lick the stream for Eugene. Damn it.
Lick the stream for the duck, for Ramsey.
Yes. Ramsey would appreciate it as well, to be fair.
Where's Ramsey? Ramsey's probably recording a video.
He is probably recording a video about an hour long. He's probably about 45 minutes deep into a video now. You know? He's probably probably just like coming up for air and shit like that. Do you know what I forgot to put on my video today? And I feel absolutely terrible about it. Alain Delon's Aquitos. I'm currently just going through some of my other perfumes at the minute, and a lot of them in here are not happy that I haven't picked them up, frankly. I can't find my Sandalo, though, by Lorenzo Villoresi.
Why do perfumers smoke? You know, Pierre Bourdon talked about smoking, and he had to hide it from his father and Rudnitska while he was apprenticing under them. And he said Rudnitska would probably let him go if he found out he was smoking.
Do you know, it strikes me as quite strange that, because if you're a nose, you're supposed to be able to smell shit, and smoke is one of the hardest things to fucking hide. Like, from anyone, the smell of smoke is pungent, and
it's hard to wash off. It's hard to get. You can probably wash it off your hands. You ain't gonna get it off your clothes.
Yeah, exactly. So how did Runetska and his father not spot that? They should be questioned on that big time. But I get what they're saying. I mean, like, loads of people I know who smoke and stuff like that have a shit sense of smell.
Did you ever smoke?
No, I have smoked like cigarettes like before, but like, you know, just like when you try them and stuff. I could never fathom the whole premise of it. Like, at least when you take like drugs, when you like smoke cannabis or something like that, at least you get high. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All that happens when you smoke cigarettes is that you die and lose all your money. You know, it's like I just never understood. And my sister smoked, and I was just like, oh, that's gross. But neither of my parents smoked, so I never understood it. Plus, I was quite chesty when I was a kid, so it used to make us like cough, and like I hated it.
It's a weird habit, especially the first time you take it up. It's absolutely disgusting. Almost like coffee. Coffee is very bitter, and it's not a good taste the first time.
Yeah, it's like beer.
It's
like
an
fucking
acquired taste. Beer is the same way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, who the fuck drinks beer for the taste? You drink beer for the taste the first time, you're a pervert, surely. There's something wrong with you. Because it's absolutely rotten, I thought. Like, I still to this day, I struggle to enjoy a beer. You know, some beer, don't get us wrong, every once in a while a beer goes down tremendously, but if I'm drinking, I'm doing it to get pissed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing it to get fucking, like, I'm not doing it, it's a lovely ale, that. It's like, no, it's awful.
It's gassy and bloating. I know what you mean exactly. That's why I can't drink beer. I mean, I do. And if I drink beer, I'll drink less than a case a year. God, half a case, 12 maybe a year. And if I do, it'll be like the hottest days in the summer. But during the winter, I don't want to touch a beer. I just get gassy and bloaty and sleepy.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes you tired. Yeah, it just makes you tired. It just makes you like, ugh, like I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. I feel a bit sick. I can't drive the car. Everything's just a bit shitter than it was, you know. People are weird. Did Caboose ask us if I was in a bad mood there? I'm never in a bad mood. Why would I be in a bad mood? I'm not in a bad mood. Caboose is here. I'm in a great mood.
He's English. He just sounds like that all the time.
Yes, that's right. That is a good point. Actually, I'll give you that. Yes, I'm English. I just sound like I'm in a bad mood.
Yours says he just came back, but I don't
think
he ever left.
He never left.
he was always here. I'm not sure what Caboose means by this, but he says some of you aren't alcoholics, and it shows.
Oh. Maybe he means like addicts. You know? Maybe that's what he means. Some of you are alcoholics, and it shows. Is that what he means?
No idea.
I don't know either.
I used to smoke and drink like a fiend, but I was just, a pack-a-day smoker for at least 10 years.
Oof. See, my chest would never have put up with that. My chest, like literally, I've had like asthma my entire life. Not really bad asthma, but I've always been a bit chesty. Even when I was like at my fittest and stuff like that, I would always get wheezy, you know. I think it's with being thick. So I thought the footy might have tainted your night. Caboose, yes. That was pretty awful what happened. They were just going to play that game until Liverpool scored again, so fuck them. We didn't deserve that. Plus, we have our 3 best players out.
Even though I don't smoke anymore, I do enjoy the smell of cigarettes when I walk past a smoker. I really like that smell.
Really?
I do.
Have you ever smelled Jasmine a Cigarette by Aldo? It's Jasmine and Cigarette.
I think I have, yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
I don't know how good it is, but apparently it's got that cigarette kind of vibe.
I think Bobby is trolling us. We're no likes. We need one more like.
Oh my gosh, is that how it is? We need one more like. Someone lick the stream. I can't with Roger, says Micah. There's a lot of people who can't with Roger.
I like Roger, man. Why do people give Roger a hard time? The guy's just himself. Let him be himself, man. Let everybody be themselves.
So I would qualify as I don't like Roger's business practices, but as a person, I think like I could sit and listen to him talk about fragrances. I could sit and listen to that man talk about anything. Could read the phone book, and I think that I think that it would be entertaining. I think it would be great. But would I ever put money in his pocket? I'm not going to do that. But as a man, as a person, I'm sure he's lovely. I should qualify it as that. I'm not quite as enraged as I was like a couple of years ago when I was like offended by his very existence. and like what he was doing and stuff. Like his business practice, not for me, but I've watched a couple of things with him. He gave a talk at the Fragrance Foundation where we whipped out all these original bottles of like Chanel number 5, like the original Chanel number 5. When he whipped out like original like 1892 Guerlain classic fucking Jickeys and Shalimars and all of that kind of pattern. I was like, wow. And it was unbelievable. He did like a history of scent. I don't know if I can. I'll see if I can get the link and put it in the chat. It's unbelievable.
He was the
sorry?
Guerlain ambassador. He was the spokesman. He was the salesman. And yeah, Galen's not wrong when he says when you hear when you hear him once, you've heard him a million times. It's a script. Wasser's no different. If you hear Wasser once, you've heard it's just a memorized speech.
Yeah, he's got shtick. His shtick. He has got shtick, but at the same time, that talk at the Fragrance Foundation was immense, and it was for a couple of hours as well. Fragrance through the decades, and it was streamed 3 years ago. I will put the link in the chat. It was that video there, and if you want to copy that down and watch it after the stream, of course, don't be a dick and leave. But if you want to watch that, it is brilliant. It really is very, very entertaining. My only regret about that video is that the audio quality isn't great, but it's a tremendous watch.
So
and he also gets.
Oh, there it is. Do you guys all see that?
The link.
I guess you're allowed to drop a link because you got a tool.
A duck. Oh. I'm allowed to drop the link because I'm a duck. Juros, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, Delphine Jelk referred to him as just a makeup artist. Delphine Jelk shouldn't be calling anybody out on shit because she has released some fucking dross for that house over the last 10 years.
Okay, all right. So let's go here. So a lot of perfumers have released a lot of dross, but is it their fault? Are they responsible for it, or is it what the brand expects from them? I mean,
so
Wasser's released just as much Drek, but
what I would say is before Jelk became more prominent at Guerlain, they were releasing better stuff. And I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying, right? But you've got to remember as well, nobody's got a gun to our head saying you must release crap, you know? Like, she could walk. And I understand the Guerlain gig's the gig of a lifetime for a perfumer. It's Guerlain. It's probably the best. It's probably the most historic. I mean, Guerlain is what Creed wishes it was, you know?
Well,
Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, like, Guerlain is what Creed tries to tell people that it is, right? They have literally released perfumes for royalty, you know?
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, it's true. Guerlain is to fragrance what fucking like Rolls Royce is to cars, you know? If we're being perfect, it's probably the most prestigious fragrance brand in the world. In the context of the last couple of 100 years, right? And Guerlain's not my favorite brand, yet I own fucking double digits of Guerlain's, right? Because that's just how Guerlain is. They're a reference brand. They're probably the shining example of a fragrance brand. That said, the stuff they've released over the last 10 to 15 years has been absolutely pants. Like, some of it has. Anyway, most of the stuff now, I mean, all you've got to do is ask Rudy. Rudy will tell you that Guerlain's dead to him. Who's this?
Keep going.
So Guerlain doesn't do, I mean, when was the last time they released an all-time great perfume? Samsara?
Samsara Ledge?
Ooh. No. No. I like l'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Parfum, but it's not for me. I don't think Lidge is an all-time classic. I don't think Lidge will be around in 100 years. That said, I'm not sure fucking Samsara will be around in 100 years. You've got to say LVMH have driven them fucking right into the ground.
I can't imagine them discontinuing Samsara.
I mean, it's really bad. Have you smelled the latest one?
I can't recall, but I know the original, the vintage, is a masterpiece. It's brilliant.
The vintage is absolutely
I think
stunning.
it's the best sandalwood ever. I think maybe even better than Bois de Zile.
It's better than Bois de Zile, no doubt. Bois de Zile's older than Samsara by some considerable distance as well. Samsara Eau de Parfum for me, what a fragrance that is. But you could say, I mean, I don't really care for Jiki, but Jiki's an all-time classic as well. You know,
Right.
Jiki's an all-time great. Mitsuko is one of the best fragrances ever made. I would make an argument for Derby, but I don't think. I mean, I could stand there and shout until I'm blue in the face, but I don't think I would get anywhere. You know, because like, who the fuck's heard of Derby really outside of like us?
You mean make an argument for Derby being what?
One of the best masculine fragrances ever released.
Yeah.
Is
Why
it?
not?
Is it? The problem is it's had absolutely zero longevity. It was got rid of within what, 5-10 years, and then brought back into.
I don't think that could be. That's more to blame for sales and the house. I don't think that should take away from the fragrance itself.
No, I understand that, but part of the point I'm making is that Jiki, Mitsuko, Samsara have been in continuous production. So we'll take Jiki and Mitsuko, right? They've been in continuous production for what? 120 years? 100 years?
Yeah, Jiki was 1898 or...
Oh, it's like 125 years next year. If it's 1898, it's 125 years next year. That's insane. It's never been out of production. It's like number 5. Number 5's an all-time classic. It's not my favorite perfume. I
Again,
don't
an
particularly
acquired taste. Number 5 is an acquired taste, like coffee, like cigarettes, like beer. It's not something that's going to appeal to your nose the instant you smell it.
No, there's only certain people that'll happen to, you know. Some people will be of a certain disposition if that's what happens. But for me, number 5 is not something I could ever wear because I would always associate it with old women or grand ladies, you know, because of how because of aldehyde. Aldehydes do that for us. Not just that, but the powderiness of it's like, no. But there is no denying it, you know. It's like Cuir de Russie. Cuir de Russie's been around continuous. No, that's not true. Not continuous production. It was discontinued
for a very long time.
For a long time, and then Mr. Polish brought it back. Polish the Elder, he brought it back. You're right.
So was Bois de Zile and Gardenia and Sycamore. There was 4 of them that were rejuvenated when the exclusives came back, and they were all from the early 1920s,
yeah, the
30s maybe.
But Polish brought Cuir de Russie back in the 80s, right? And he brought Bois de Zile back in the 80s. I think he brought Gardenia back in the 80s. I don't know about Sycamore. But the Cuir de Russie that he released in the 1980s, the Cuir de Russie he released in the 1980s is tremendous. Ramsey sent us a mill, like a couple of mils of it, and it is absolutely.
I should ask Ramsey for that.
He might have given it. He might have given you it. How many likes are we on?
73. We'll get there. We're in the middle of something.
73.
Yeah. We'll get to the unboxing. We'll get to the unboxing.
Okay. So you want to keep?
So Polish brought back in the 80s? You said Bois de Zile and
Gardenia.
I don't know if he brought back Sycamore, but were
No,
they
it wasn't.
discontinued once again before they came out in the Les Exclusives in
Yes.
2007? Or
Yes.
were they still in rotation and just transferred?
Nope. They weren't still in rotation. They were got rid of again in the 90s, I believe. In the early 90s, they weren't out for very long. Those bottles are all very...
They're so hard to find.
Oh, Christ on a bike. There's a bottle of Creator Russi that is on eBay. It's 100 ml from the 1980s. I've discussed it with the lady, and I am giving serious thought to buying that as one of the perfumes that would increase the value of my collection. I would then be tempted to sell my Les Exclusives or the Toilette version of Creator Russi. But she wants like 500 quid for it, and I'm not paying that. I've already bid. I've been like, oh, here, I'll give you like 400. And I might give her 450.
I mean, I paid more for dumber things.
Well, this is the thing, you know, like shit is like bonkers at the minute. And I could always, if it's shit, I can always send it back, you know, but it's one of those.
I can't imagine it being shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically what I mean by that is if it's not in good condition. If it's not in good condition, yeah, Rudy, I would send you it, mate, but you would have to come and get it. Unless I stuck it in the package for Ramsey as well, because me and Ramsey are trying to sort something out to get a package over to him. So if it turns out that I can send this package to Ramsey, I will get down on bended knee and ask him if he will send you the package from Texas to you. But I will bear that in mind. I'll bear that in mind. I won't want daft money for it, because if it's Rudy, I'll just give it a cost.
Sorry,
Okay.
The gentleman you see there, that's the president of Guerlain Canada. I think this is the Guerlain boutique you're seeing here. Now it's closed down now, but he's the one that decided to close it down. And this is when the last time Wasser came to speak here. And I'm not sure why. A lot of my older videos are on private, and I have no idea why. I don't remember private. You know, there's been times I've privatized videos, but I've always brought them back, and I've been going through them, and I see a lot of them are on private for some reason. And this was one of them. And I thought this was a great live stream when Wasser came to Toronto. I think this was the Mon Guerlain launch or something big. I think Mon Guerlain was the last big thing that they launched, like worldwide, and made a big fuss about. So I'm just kind of showing this in the background. But Fosco is asking a question mark. Samsara better than Bois de Zil? I'm not saying Samsara is a better fragrance than Bois de Zil. I'm saying I think Samsara is a better sandalwood-based perfume. Vintage, if we're talking about vintage. But I've never smelled vintage Bois de Zil.
No, that is not going to be an easy find either.
But I think vintage Samsara is one of the best sandalwood perfumes I've ever smelled.
The fucking eau de parfum is absolutely incredible. It's incredible. I've got the vintage eau de toilette, which I'm not as keen on because it's got a more prominent jasmine. But the eau de parfum, it feels like it's balanced in the other direction. Like the eau de parfum, the sandalwood's more prominent, and the jasmine takes a backseat, and I'm much more comfortable with that. The eau de toilette, the jasmine's a bit more prominent, and the sandalwood takes more of a backseat on me. It is.
I get mostly ylang from Samsara.
Yeah,
like massive ylang.
Yes. I was just about to say it's got this creamy kind of yellow, white, floral sort of thing going on, you know. It's for me, it's difficult because I'm not a big floral person, you know. Like, it's something I've got to like wrap my head around, because it's the type of fragrance. It's so rich and so thick that it can wear you if you're not careful. You know, it's got a lot of personality, that thing. Type of woman that kicks you in the fucking balls, you know. if you would like allow her to get away with it. Be a man. Wear me properly. Still wondering.
Rich, you're familiar with both Bois d'Azil and Egoiste. Do you see a connection between those two? Because they're often like when one comes up, the other is like brought up similarly. And
no, you're not wrong. They both got sandalwood in. They're both Chanel's, but you've got to remember as well that I think Egoiste is more closely linked with another Chanel fragrance that was released a lot later than Bois d'Azil, and I can't remember the fucking name of it. I can see it.
Egoiste? You mean Bois Noir?
No, Egoiste was much more closely related to a female. Egoiste is like the male version of a different Chanel.
Yes, I 100% agree with you, and I'll tell you what it is right now.
Go on. What was it?
It's not Bois d'Azil. Egoiste is connected directly to Coco Chanel.
Got you.
You have, and it's that plum. It's that fruity plum.
So I get. Do you get the there's like a spice in Egoiste as well, but it's not like it's like a sweet spice. What's it called?
Cinnamon.
Yes, cinnamon.
Carnation, massive carnation.
I think Egoiste is one of the best masculines, you know. It's an incredible fragrance. It gets such a bad rep.
Why?
Because maybe people associate too closely with it being a feminine Chanel fragrance. Maybe it smells too classic. Maybe it's just people weren't happy. You've got to remember they had to bring out Platinum Egoiste to basically like rescue the situation.
There's absolutely nothing feminine about Egoiste. Nothing at all.
No, but it was associated that way. You've got like there's a what was it? Chanel. Remember the Ghost Perfumer? Have you read it?
No.
So in the Ghost Perfumer, Gabe makes the point that Chanel spent $50 million on advertising and development and like the production of Egoiste when it was first released, and it flopped. No fucker bought it. Nobody bought it. It was an absolute nightmare for them, and it's because they did zero market research on it. So they put a lot of money. I would agree. It was probably about 15 years ahead of its time, because if it was released at around the same time Dior Homme was released, it would like the metrosexual. It's a much more metrosexual fragrance than say everything else that was out in 1990 when it was released. You know, it was released in the same year as Balenciaga Pour Homme. Now, I mean, Balenciaga Pour Homme, I mean, that was only around for one run. You know, the thing with Balenciaga Pour Homme is that was after its time. You know, it was one of the last masculine powerhouse. It was an 80s fragrance released in 1990, really. Whereas Egoiste had the exact opposite problem. It was a 2000s fragrance released in the 90s.
Yeah. It was way ahead of its time. The North American people weren't prepared for such a fragrance.
It did shocking in Europe as well. It did shocking in Europe. It was crazy. It is insane, because I've got a vintage Platinum Egoiste, which I hate because it just smells like Sauvage. You can tell Demaché had his hands on it, the rascal that he is.
Platinum Egoiste? Yes,
you can totally smell it. It smells like Sauvage. To me, I just get a massive reek of Sauvage. Is that Christo? Outrageous.
Victor Wong.
Oh, is that Victor Wong? Oh, with Victor Wong, sorry. And then, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I've got Platinum Egoiste, which stinks of Sauvage to me. Just smell them side by side, you'll know what I mean. I've got vintage Egoiste, 2 bottles of the original Egoiste. One of them's a massive splash. I've also got
you have the Cologne Concentré?
I've got 2 bottles of that, yes.
Is it? I mean, I can't imagine it being better than the Egoiste, but is it?
It's just imagine it just being thicker. Imagine it just being richer. Yeah, just imagine Egoiste, but more.
I don't own Egoiste Concentré, no. But I do have an older Egoiste and I have modern. And I think modern is spectacular still. It's not as rich.
Yeah.
It's not as rich as
that one.
vintage Egoiste, but it's glorious. I think I actually prefer it to the older Egoiste. It's easier to wear. It's not as thick. It doesn't have as much present, but it's absolutely not invisible. It has personality.
Like, do you know how you see some people in their videos now where they're like, oh, I'm going to put like 10 sprays of like, I'm going to put 10 sprays of like such and such on any fragrance, even the beast mode stuff, quote unquote. Or like, oh, I'm going to put like 10 sprays of like beast mode, this, that, or the other on. The idea of putting 10 sprays of like vintage Egoiste or vintage like cologne concentrate is a 2 sprayer at most.
Yeah.
And it's like, seriously, it would make you ill if you did that. If you were to spray that amount of that fragrance on, you would be like, bleh. You know, it's very much it's got this rich is probably the way. It's not sweet, it's rich.
It's very rich. It's
dense and compact and
very sharp, dry woods.
Yeah, but like natural dry woods, not like woody ambers.
No, not woody ambers, but dry woods. Very spicy.
I sprayed the moon on.
There's something Christmassy about it as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that, with the spiciness.
Cinnamon, clove. Rudy was just saying earlier that Chanel says there's no cinnamon. I find that hard to believe. There's no cinnamon in Egoiste. Like, I clearly get cinnamon, or at least something that resembles cinnamon. It's an accord maybe that makes cinnamon.
But just that baffles me. Like, if they're really genuinely saying there's no cinnamon, I thought that's like one of the main notes.
Yeah, vanilla.
Like, I thought that was like genuine,
but not a goopy vanilla, not a sweet vanilla. It's like a drier, bland vanilla.
How can you not get cinnamon in Egoiste? It's like probably the most prominent top note. It's probably the first thing you smell. And then you get this like rich yellow, dark yellow, almost brown kind of sandalwoody thing. And then you get all this natural sweetness, you know, like do you know when you eat like too many like raisins or dates or like fruit, and it's not like eating like Haribo where it's like sugar and all of that, but it's like you eat too much like natural, what are they called, like fructose.
It's a plum. It's a plum accord in Egoiste and in cocoa, massive plum, like a prunol.
Yeah.
And somebody was asking earlier, I highlighted the comment, do you see a connection between cocoa, Egoiste, and number 19? And I absolutely see a connection. It's like a triangle that connects the three. Big rose patchoulis, the plum accord. You have the ambrette musk that connects Egoiste and number 18. Not sure if cocoa has the ambrette, but they have a lot of similarities. Number 18 is a very dry, dark, spicy, woody fragrance, very much like Egoiste, but much more transparent. It's much lighter. It's what I would consider like invisible perfume.
Yeah, like Bob's made the point that it's got rosewood in it as well. Egoiste's got rosewood in it, and rosewood gives this very rich kind of brown, woody kind of vibe.
Right.
And
it's like rose-scented wood, really, is what it is.
Yeah, there's like that like a little bit of sweetness from the rose. Yeah, a little bit of sweetness from that rose in the wood, you know. But you couldn't separate them from each other. You know, you couldn't.
Know what else I get a really nice rosewood from is Hermesance's Paprika Brazil.
Ooh, you know, for me, I just get paprika and iris.
Massive iris.
It's a huge iris perfume. It's much more irisy than it is paprika. Like paprika is sort of like a top note, and then it's like, see, here's some iris. Deal with that. You know what I mean? It's it is I was surprised by my 100 ml bottle when I donned that, and I was like, "Ooh, this is different from what I remember. This was a lot spicier back in the day." The spice is still there, but it's turning to iris, and the iris in it reminds us of the iris in Cherishing. I'm not saying it's the same, but it reminds us of it. It's like it's not supposed to be the dominant note, but once you start smelling it, you're like, I can't smell anything else. You know?
Yeah.
I got a nice carnation from Egoiste as well. A little spicy carnation.
Definitely.
Spicy little number.
It's more woody than it is floral.
Yeah.
I don't find Egoiste floral at all. It's much darker and drier woods.
I'm intrigued by what I'm going to wear this week after Tobacco Road tomorrow.
But I think Egoiste is brilliant, even in modern.
Sorry, which one's that?
Egoiste.
Yeah, even the modern version. I've got a modern bottle and I'm really happy with it. It'll take us ages to get round to my vintage one. I might see if I could palm off me modern bottle of Egoiste as well.
Egoiste, it's Egoiste season very soon. 2 more weeks. It's starting to get chilly. The nights are starting earlier. The sun's going down. Which season would be perfect for Egoiste? 3 seasons. Fall and winter for sure.
Yeah, fall.
Like the early parts of spring.
Yeah, February, March.
Yeah. See, the difference, and the reason I don't see the connection between Bois d'Azil and Egoiste. Bois d'Azil is much more floral. I don't get the sharp contrasting woods. Even though it is a woody perfume, they're not as sharp and deep. They're mixed in with the florals. It's much more rounded. Bois d'Azil is a round perfume, very powdery. While Egoiste is very sharp. It's separated by these cut lines. It's got peaks and valleys.
Yes.
Bois d'Azil it flows. There's no separation between the notes. Everything it's kind of mixed in and blended together.
It's so well made. It's very well made, like all Chanel's are. It's one of the features of Chanel that it's very hard to pick out single notes or chords. Do you know what I mean? Like the Polish family, like the Polsches, I want to say. It's vintage. It's vintage blending. It's vintage making of perfume. Vintage style, but with a view to they've got the brief. They've got the brief to make Chanel perfumes and for them to be in line with the Chanel aesthetic.
Absolutely. And you and I were just talking about this the other day about Bleu de Chanel and how it stands out in that lineup like a sore thumb, and it has no connection to any other Chanel.
Yeah.
Maybe even Allure as well. It seems like every Chanel ever created kind of it fits into this. You know, there's something connecting it to another perfume, And I just can't find that with Bleu. Even Allure, like, but Bleu more so. It doesn't remind me of anything else that Chanel's ever made. It just feels modern, while all their other perfumes feel classic. Now, I don't get that Chanelade.
Chanelade.
Like those florals, the pastels, the creaminess.
Chanel is very, as you say, pastel-y and
Waxy.
very, yeah.
Lipsticky, powdery.
And then you've got
almost
something
muted.
like, yeah,
soft, subtle, elegant.
Something like Bleu comes along and it's like, what are you? Where did you come from? You made the point that you think it could have been made by someone from outside of Chanel. I mean, not to be like serious about it, but it's like it does feel like that. It does feel like an alien that's come down from like space and has like just dropped a fragrance in on Chanel and being like, there you go. Here is something like completely different, you know?
But even with an in-house perfumer that's been with the brand for decades, do you think it's totally unreasonable for them to have gone to a big flavoring house to create Bleu?
I just can't see it. I can't see them doing that. I can't see them being, because by that time, right, they were becoming, if they weren't already vertically integrated, they had recruited Christopher Sheldrake in like 2004, 2005 to be like the master of ingredients. And at that time, that means that they were like basically like hunting their own ingredients. They were doing everything in-house. And I can't see for the life of us why they would go outside at that point, like 5-6 years later, after doing all of that. And then just roll back on it. Why would they go to all that effort to get their own ingredients, to get their own in-house perfumer, to pay all these people to do all these things? I think what they've done is, I think they've focus grouped it. I think they've market researched it. I think they have gone in completely the opposite direction to what they did with Egoiste. And they've said,
focus group to death.
Yeah. That's what I think Bleu was. I mean, but you've got to remember as well, you know, like there was nothing like Bleu. Bleu was I say there was nothing like Bleu before Bleu, but the Bleu fragrance craze is the natural successor to the aquatic fragrance craze, which was like 10-15 years before that, though. You know, how long? Yeah. It was released in 2011 or 2010, Bleu de Chanel. And you've got to think, Chanel must have worked on that for the best part of 10 years. They must have worked on that. Polish must have worked on that for the best part of 10 years. I mean, you've got to remember as well, the last new line of masculine fragrances they released before that was Allure. 13 years before. And then they just did loads of like flankers of Allure, and they've done the same thing with Bleu, and now they've had 3 different versions of Bleu. I was told, I don't know if it was by you, but it was by someone, that they were supposed to be bringing out a brand new men's line this year, you know, like a new standalone fragrance, and it just hasn't happened. and there's no inkling of it happening either. You know,
I don't think they're going to abandon blue quite yet. We're not done with the flankers.
do you think they'll do an elixir?
It might not be an elixir, but it'll be something different. At least one more. They're going to milk the bleu. I mean, nobody's buying Antaeus. Nobody's buying Pour Monsieur. Nobody's buying Cristal or number 19. Like, none of that stuff sells.
Yeah.
So I think before they invest in another franchise, they're going to milk bleu. They're going to milk Gabrielle, which is fine.
I mean, it's been
Yossi asking, is Egoiste at Les Exclusives level? What do you think, Rich?
Is Egoiste at Les Exclusive level? It's better than some of them. It is better than some of them. I've got to be honest.
So I'm not sure what he means exactly by that, or he. The
problem you've got there is that they wouldn't move it. It couldn't be one because you've got Bois d'Azil. It's
well, I think again they're very different perfumes for me.
I don't think that they're different enough for other people, though.
Well, I mean, Bois d'Azil and number 22 aren't very different from each other.
I'd have to smell number 22 again. I don't think I've got that.
I think conceptually, Egoiste would fit in perfectly.
I think it could be. I think it could
concept,
be again, but
it would stand out like a sore thumb because a lot of those Les Exclusives are integrated into each other. They all have that aesthetic.
Iris.
Yeah.
They're all iris. There's no iris. Yeah, there's no iris in Egoiste at all. Zero.
But again, they've also got, number 18 is there. Number 18 is their exclusive version of Egoiste. That's exactly what it is. Number 18 is a reworking of Egoiste and Coco brought together.
Oof. I'll have to go and get me Egoiste out. Not me Egoiste, me Coco out. Coco for me is big plum. It's a big plummy bastard.
But Anoush keeps saying, watch out for Antaeus to be discontinued because they're getting rid of SKUs. They're getting rid of the Antaeus products like the deodorant or whatever else they had. Aftershave. I wonder if they would consider putting Antaeus in a Les Exclusive bottle.
But that could easily be done. It would stand out like a sore thumb because it's an earthy, dry, rose, patchouli, animalic, sort of beastly kind of. It's an animal. It smells like Antaeus is the perfect name for it. But I don't think it would fit in that. I don't think it would fit in the aesthetic of the line. I sincerely hope it's not got rid of. I really want a vintage bottle of Antaeus.
I'm surprised you don't have one.
I'm surprised I don't have one. I've got more vintage cologne. I've got more vintage sport cologne Antaeus than I do vintage Antaeus. I've only got one bottle of Antaeus, and it's the modern one, and it's fantastic. Don't get us wrong. It's a beautiful thing.
What color is the sprayer?
Silver. No, sorry, it's black. I want a silver one. I want a silver one as old as possible, preferably an original.
Do you get beeswax in it?
Not off the top of my head, no. But I haven't smelled it for like over 6 months. You know what I mean? I haven't smelled it for a very long time now. Let's go.
All right, so we're at 81 likes.
Okay.
We're at 81 likes. They did well. They did very well. I mean, beyond our expectations. So I think we owe them a little something.
Go.
Okay, so I know I haven't seen Ramsey, but thank you, Ramsey, for this. And I'm just gonna let you know what he sent, and then I'll do a standalone video for these.
Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Big young.
So it feels like there's close, not quite, but close to 10 pieces in here.
Oh, yes.
And we've got Portos, Balenciaga Portos. All I smell is cigar on my fingers. We have Dunhill Blend 30. Okay. Dying to try this. This is highly regarded.
It is highly regarded, especially by Ramsey and Johnson.
There is Roja Haute Luxe. Okay.
That's a $3,000 perfume.
Yeah. Is it 3,000?
Yep.
And I asked him, what is a we were talking, and I asked him, what does a $3,000 perfume smell like? And he's like, let me send you some. You can check for yourself. You guys want me to stop the Guerlain video? I mean, I can, but it's just background banter. Anteus Sport.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one I've got. I think you'll enjoy that. That'll be very interesting to hear your thoughts on that.
Do you like it better than Anteus?
Oh, no. Antaeus is just the real deal. Like, I really, really love Antaeus. Like, I really love Antaeus. It reminds us of like an earlier time in my fragrance journey. And it's just a top fragrance. Like, it really is special. I love
do you have a preference between Antaeus and Egoiste?
Egoiste. No, Antaeus, sorry.
It's hard to choose.
It is hard to choose. It is very hard to choose. But if I was forced to, I would say Antaeus. Antaeus is one of those fragrances definitely in the top 10.
I love both. I think they're both easily in my top 10. Easily.
Yeah.
We've got Maxim's Pour Homme. I don't know anything about this. And we have
What is this?
Balenciaga Pour Homme.
Outrageous.
I'm dying to try this, like to wear it.
Do it.
I've smelt this once, but I had like I had a dozen other things on, so it was like I couldn't fully grasp or appreciate it.
Do it now. Put yourself on stream. Put yourself on screen. Just you, and just try that one. None of the other ones. Do it live.
And finally, Balenciaga Ho Hang Club.
That's lovely. That reminds me of Antaeus.
So you want me to try Balenciaga Pour Homme?
Yes. Put yourself on stream, full screen.
Okay. Here we go.
ASMR.
Okay. Balenciaga Pour Homme.
Let's go.
Where's Ramsey?
It'll be working. It's like 5:30 where he is now.
So massive florals right off the top. Massive.
Really?
Very warm, rounded,
Yes.
creamy, incense. Is there amber? Soapy, very soapy. Super soapy, very fluid. But something sparkling. There's a contrast of sparkle. A touch of greenness.
Yes.
Is there violet in here?
There is something a little purple about it. But
Violet leaf, not violet flower, violet leaf.
Violet life. I don't think
Very
it's violet
soapy.
leaf.
It reminds me of soap, like a very thick soap. There's got to be sandalwood in here. A sandalwood base. A massive sandalwood base.
That's right. There is massive sandalwood. Cinnamon. Patchouli.
I get a lot of florals from this.
That's unusual. So let's see if we can find. There it is. Laurels.
Oak moss.
Yes. Honey.
I'm not getting honey. I don't get honey. No, not right now.
Cinnamon. Cardamom.
The main thing that sticks out is soapy, some animalics, powderiness.
Vanilla.
It's not a sweet vanilla.
No. It's more
It feels like
creamy.
a chypre.
No,
It feels like a big soapy chypre.
Nah, for me it's a big fougere. I get
barbershoppy,
spicy ambery fougere. Little bit barbershop. The
to me right now it's leaning more chypre than it is a barbershop.
fougere.
I don't really get that lavender coumarin balm.
No, I don't think there's very much tonka in it. If there is, it's like a supporting kind of round, like you say, it's rounded. It's very well made.
Very round, very floral.
I don't get any floral from it. There's galbanum in it. There's thyme in it. They're the closest cypress. They're the closest thing to florals I get in it. Laurels is like a leaf. But the laurels are usually a little bit medicinal. That might be what's giving you the camphorous kind of thing.
It's a very big perfume.
Oh, it's huge.
Is there ambergris in here?
Possibly as a fixative, but not as a note. It's nuclear. It will last forever.
It feels like it has in the base the same thing a lot of the old Chanels have, which I imagine is ambergris. Like in number 5, Bois d'Azil, number 22. It's all that waxy ambergris.
It's got this kind of like Fosco's made a point. It says it has fake oud in it. There are some people who get an oud note from it, and they say, like I've heard before, that some people say I don't think there is oud in it, but Dura Rosa Saint Dihydromercenal, I think that's possible. But
it doesn't feel like a synthetic. Like dihydromercenol is very fresh and clean and green. I imagine this protects like a bomb.
Oh, it's massive. It's one of the biggest perfume. One of, if not the biggest perfume I own. Maybe with the exception of something like Promise.
You know what the soapiness brings to mind is Paco Rabanne Purhomme.
Yes, it's got that vintage. It's got that vintage. It's got that vintage. Like I said, it's like an 80s perfume. It's like 70s, 80s perfume, and it like released in 1990. It's got no right to have been released when it was released at all. It's like 5 to 10 years out of date.
Is it connected to Paco Rabanne Purhomme at all?
Possibly with the base. Possibly with the base.
So when you say barbershop, I can definitely see that soapiness, like a barbershop soapiness. But if I had to like give it a genre, to me it feels more chypre.
Is it because of the oak moss and like the sort of like
it's really settling down nicely. I can feel mossiness.
Yeah. The moss will give it that kind of soapiness for me because I think it can be done by proxy. You know, the amount of times you've smelled moss in a soapy fragrance. When you smell moss in a fragrance that isn't particularly soapy, your mind instantly goes to soap because it's so used to going in that direction.
It's very clean. I don't get urinal at all.
I get some funk with it. I get a little bit of funk, but I think that's from the patchouli. I get like a slightly syrupy, dirty, funky patchouli. If you smell that, to me, I get a little bit of Hohan Club as well, because of the dark patchouli, sort of almost rosy, like vibe in it as well. I don't think there's rose in it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like some like rose-esque compounds in there to give it that kind of dark redness. Yes, Houdini, I was actually sent a picture of that.
It's very woody.
I did laugh. I did think it was great, actually. Thank you. Sorry?
It's very woody.
Yeah, like the sandalwood, and it's very sandalwood's in it, very present. Full patchouli was likely used, not a fraction, says F. Frank. FCM's name is Frank. He likes to be called Frank. So instead of saying FCM, we call him Frank now. And frankly,
is that his name, Frank?
That is what he has to be called. God, Susan, if it makes him happy, I don't care.
What does FCM stand for?
I don't know, but I imagine the F stands for Frank. It would make sense. Vetiversol acetate.
What color do you see with Balenciaga Purhomme?
So I get like, have you ever seen the lid? Like the built-in sprayer lid, that green marble, right? If you can imagine the opposite color to that on the color wheel would be like a violet sort of green, like a violet-y sort of bluey, inky sort of color. I get this, like, I don't know why, but I always get like a black currant note in it as well. I get this berry at the top. I get this fruity. I think it's part of the patchouli, frankly, but I get this kind of sweet berry. Like, I used to think the same thing about Volutes by Diptyque, but that hasn't got like a black currant berry sort of thing in it either.
So dry, Volutes.
I
find Volutes hard to wear. I love dry perfumes, but this is so pasty. Like, my mouth gets dry from wearing Volutes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's
you know, when I'm not sure if you reviewed Les Indomitable Amber Supreme, but you talked about it a lot.
Yes.
And you talk about it being a blue fragrance or smelling
Yes.
blue.
Like the best blue fragrance ever.
Right. So when I smell Bois de Zil, I see blue, and I imagine it's from that ambergris.
That's outrageous.
So you say you get blue from Ambre Supreme. I imagine it's also from the ambergris.
The ambergris, yeah.
And I get that here. I get that blue ambergris.
Outrageous. I get a purpley bluey sort of inky color, like Biros. Biros, the pen. Those, do you know what they are?
No.
Oh God, right. Do you know those those pens, right, that you pick up and they've got they're oh Christ on a bike. I'll just send you a picture. Hold on. You'll know what they are. You'll have seen them before. It's a biro pen, right? Have a look. It's like a ballpoint pen. You know the ballpoint pens with the see-through stem, and you see them they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Ball pens, right? And the blue ink that they use.
Yeah.
Right, that's that kind of color, a purpley blue sort of color. That's what I see.
This is very round, very fluid.
I absolutely love it. Like Bic Crystal. That's what this is called. I will send you this link. It's like this bluey purple. Let's have a look. I'll send you this link. Hold on, and you'll see the kind of blue I'm talking about. It is Asian, and there you go. Do you see that pen?
Yes.
You know that color?
Yeah.
That color is the sort of color I get from it's got purple in it. It's a blue, but it's got purple in it.
I'm not even kidding. I get the exact same thing.
Outrageous. It's that blue with a bit of depth.
Where do you think that's coming from?
I think it's the patchouli.
Blue patchouli?
Like a blue purple. I get almost like a blueberry. Do you know blueberries? Right? You know how they've got that sort of purpley blueness.
Right.
It's on that kind of scale, right? And I get that. I think it's from the patchouli. There it is.
There you go.
That blue, the ink that comes from those pens. You know how if you press hard or if you go over the same line twice, it gets darker.
Right.
Right. It's like that. It's like deep and thick and dark.
I think it's coming from an ambergris.
I wouldn't. There's absolutely. It would not surprise me in the slightest. It would not surprise me in the slightest if there was ambergris in it, but not as a note, as a fixative.
Right.
You've got.
I feel like ambergris is something that pulls everything together and fills in all the gaps and rounds everything out. If there's any space in the perfume, ambergris, it's almost like putting marbles in a jar and then you pour ambergris in there and it would fill in all the empty space.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what this is doing here.
Like epoxy resin.
It's very round.
I love it. It's one of, if not my favorite fragrance. It's right up there. Patchouli, ambergris, musk. There's good quality musk in there. It's probably not real musk because it was 1990, so it was probably banned by then. but whatever they've used instead in there adds to that sort of effect. Gerard Anthony, he's never made a bad perfume. He's never made a bad perfume. It's obscene how good he is, really.
Frank's saying a big benzoin, and I do get something incensey, but I don't think it's benzoin. To me, benzoin is sweet, vanilla-ish. I definitely get incense.
There's a natural sweetness to it.
Benzoin to me is related to amber, vanilla.
Yeah, there's an amber. It's definitely got amber in it, this fragrance.
I get an incense coming from somewhere else. I don't see benzoin here.
I need to dehydrate. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Give us a minute. I'm going to dehydrate. I'll be back in a second. Oh, good heavens.
That's a good way of putting it. Ambergris is the mortar between bricks. It just holds everything together. I would agree with that. Bluest of them all is Kazemi. I would agree with this. I love Musc de Sable, and I do prefer it to Ombre Supreme. But they're very different perfumes. I don't get anything metallic here. I do get something sparkling, but not metallic like Platinum Egoiste. No. I get a lot of florals. Very woody, though, mixed with woods. But I can definitely see this connected to big, bold, masculine fragrances. See, in the benzoin, you know, I don't get it right now, and that might appear in the base. Benzoin is used as a base note. So right now it's probably covered up. Houdini, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Very soapy. Sparkling and incense, C12. Boom. All right, you guys are getting way too technical here. I just want to connect to emotions. This is like new nerd territory, which is fine. Which is fine. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. It smells exactly like I remember it. I smelled it once at Maximum Fragrance. Samir had a bottle, like his own personal bottle, and he let me smell it. Is it what I expected? Kind of. I mean, I expected from Rich a really big, bold, rich perfume. Is it what I expected? I know he doesn't like florals, though, and I get a lot of florals from this. Not particularly white florals, but very round, full florals. Does it remind me of Heritage? Not at all. I don't get any Heritage from this. Is it supposed to smell like Heritage?
So I think Sorry. What were
What's
you
up?
going to say?
What's up?
I don't know. Now that I have just returned, I decided to moisturize my face when I was there as well.
So does Balenciaga remind you of Heritage?
No.
If I had to
Patchouli.
pick one perfume it reminds me of, like right now, it would be Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Just the soapiness of it. A very rich in soap. I feel
Classic.
like a very luxurious soap.
Yeah, it's the cedar. They've both got cedar wood in it. It's a very, very, very good quality cedar as well.
You find cedar soapy?
Yes.
Like I get soap bubbles here.
No, I get like a
lathering in bubbles.
So if you can imagine, right, somebody getting some wet soap, right, on a piece of cedar wood, and the soap doesn't dry, it stays wet, and just rubbing, right, rubbing soap on a piece of cedar wood, right? That's what I get from Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. I get this fucking beautiful, smooth, creamy soap. You know, like Dove. How Dove buffs up really well, and like it moisturizes at the same time as it cleanses, and it leaves your skin feeling really smooth and soft, right? I get that from it, and the cedar is a very creamy and rich cedar, but it's still that fresh cedar as well. Less woody than it is creamy. I'm not entirely sure how to do that. Somebody, you mentioned before about Heritage. No, but it's strange that they're both patchouli dominant scents, but they're completely different patchoulis. Like you couldn't get two more different patchouli fragrances. Incredibly patchouli. Jura Rose uses a tuberose soap. A horrible man. I hate tuberose.
You say cedar. I can't recall ever finding a soapy cedar. To me, cedar is very dry and very sharp, and not like soap. To me, is very round. I don't get a connection with cedar and soap ever.
So imagine if you got a piece of cedar wood, like a 2x4, right?
Cedar is in its purest form is animalic. It has a life to it.
I haven't smelled it in its original form.
It's dirty.
Outrageous. I'll tell you what, have you ever smelled Bloodline by Henley?
No.
God almighty, you've got to smell that. Like if just for the cedar wood note. It's an incredible cedar. Like I would do bits for that. Like that's one of the perfume. That is like one of the perfumes. You know, I was saying like a perfume that would improve the collection. I would buy that.
Right.
Different types of cedar do different types of things as well. His is a Texas cedar, and the color of it, it smells like the color of it. You know when there's them outrageous sunsets that go bright red, and they're like that fire red, you know, like flame. That's what that smells like. It smells like a blood red sunset.
Wow.
Oh, it's beautiful. Honestly, it's absolutely stunning. He was kind enough to send me a sample when he did his second batch of it. And I was like, mate, keep us one. And he was like, I can't, I like sell them via lottery. And I was like, what in the bollocks does that mean? I don't know what that means. I've never managed to get my hands on a bottle, but I would.
Yeah, you can't get one even if you have money.
Yeah, exactly. I would like mud wrestle my own mother for a bottle of that stuff.
That would be hot.
That would be not hot, but it would be worth it because it's awesome.
Shout outs to Anush. Thank you for the super chat.
That's a massive super chat.
Les Abstraits about to bowl onward and upward. Thank you.
Les Abstraits is coming. That is right.
I appreciate that.
So what when you do release your perfumes, you're not going to be releasing all three.
No, just one.
Just one. Do you know what the sort of timeline is? Are you going to wait till next year to release your next one? Or are you going to wait a certain amount of time? You've got no idea.
Dude, I have no idea, right? Like I don't have a plan for it. And that's kind of how I live my life. You know, it's going to be, it's when the moment is right and I'll know.
Yeah.
You know, that moment will come and they'll say, okay, it's time. You know, let me get a feeling of how this all works. This is all very new to me. I've never done anything like this. I need to figure out shipping. I need to figure out, I don't want to get bombarded with too much and then not be able to keep up.
Yeah.
And once that's all figured out and I get the hang of it and it settles down a little bit, then we'll look into perfume number 2, which is right here.
Outrageous.
This was my scent of the day.
I haven't even smelled the other two. Galen has though.
You've smelled submissions.
Yes, that's true. I have. Yes.
You've smelled submissions, and you've smelled things that are very close to the final product.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple of the submissions. I remember when you sent us one of them. I was like, "Whoa, you could just sell this by itself." It was like 2-0.
That was the very first submission.
Yeah, I would just eat that. I would just like, I mean, you couldn't eat it, but like, yeah, seriously, it was awesome. Yeah. I would have just consumed that as is, which would make me a terrible analyzer for fragrances, you know, because if he'd submitted that to me first, I would have just been like, sorted, you know what I mean? I would have just been like, yes, I'll take it, thanks, bye.
I said the same thing. I was like, because I was on a Zoom with him when I smelled it the first time, and my reaction was like, I fucking love this. Like, I love it. But it felt more of an accord at that time than like a complete perfume. So I was like, I love this idea. I'm sold on the idea. Let's just kind of build upon it. And that's what we did. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have a specific date in mind, but soon. That time will come soon.
Soon.
We can't avoid it. Bobby Ono is saying out to the garage, trying to bribe me. Out to the garage. He wants to see what's in the garage. Should we show them garage?
Take them to the garage and show them.
Fosco saying not unlike New York Intense. Thank you for the super chat, Bobby O. I guess he's talking about Balenciaga Pour Homme. I don't find them similar at all.
No, not for me. I don't like New York Intense. That's probably why I can't say it, because I just don't like the idea that Balenciaga Pour Homme's anything like New York Intense. Because I don't like New York Intense. Personally, was talking about a new Nikolai the other day, and I was like, I do not like this house. I would love to like the house. Nothing would make us happier, but rotten. Never smelled anything from it that I didn't like, apart from Baikal leather, which ironically Persiles did not like. So that was interesting.
I've not smelled Baikal. Houdini says he got a compliment with Leza. He got 4 compliments.
Which one?
He's only smelt La Doulette. You got 4 unsolicited comments. Oh, not compliments. Comments from people who, I don't know if he means compliments from people who don't dish them out.
Positive, unsolicited comments from people who don't dish them out. Outrageous. I wonder who's done that.
We're working on samples. I talked to somebody the other day and said, I can't remember who it was. It could have been somebody in the perfume industry, but saying like there's a shortage of sample files in the world. They can't get samples either. They can't get like the 2, 3, 4, 5 mil sample sprayers.
I'm fucking glad they can't get them shitty 2 mil sprayers, like, because they're appalling. You know, those ones that are everywhere, like all the brands use them. Oh, they're appalling. Like, why can't they just make slightly better sprayers? Like two sprays out of one of those isn't enough, and then three's too much. You know, it's one of them. Very I don't want to say annoying, but it's like when you try to get like the exact amount of, like, you know, when you're putting fuel in your car and you try to get like exactly like £100, and then you get like £101, or you get like £100 in a penny, and you're like, ugh. So then you've got to go to like £101 exactly.
Rich, Galen is offering you his bottle of Bloodline free.
Local pickup only. The shit.
Can
He's
you
been
imagine
doing that.
one day you actually do show up in Portland
Just stick the nut on him. Just
and say, I'm
headbutt
here
him.
for all the bottles you promised me?
Yes, that's right. Steal his cat as well. Just take everything. You know? I'd have to. Do you remember that video he did where he went around the house being like, "Oh, I've got to like hide all my animalic perfumes away from my wife, or my girlfriend." I beg your pardon. And
He hit him in the ceiling tiles under the
yes,
stove.
I'd have to go around his house, like searching like around in all these like outrageous places, like in the fireplace and stuff like that. You know, he's got one stashed in the chimney. I'd have to go and I'd have to go around his house. It could be like a little hunt. You know what I mean? It'd be like a fun house. Galen's fun house. Outrageous.
It's good. Balenciaga is really good. It's very nice. I don't find it as assertive as, let's say, a Kouros or Antaeus. It's more reserved.
It's more classic. It's more classic. Those two perfumes were like much more out there, especially Kouros. But Antaeus was a lot. Antaeus was blended brilliantly, but it was like Kouros with its pants up. You know, Kouros was just a perfume with its pants down. You know, just like, or no pants on whatsoever. Whereas Antaeus was like, it was like Kouros, but like groomed, combed, hairy man, still a hairy man. You know, the hair on his chest, hair on his back, big hair, big curls. You know, like the adverts. You remember the advert for Kouros? Not Kouros. Antaeus, where it was like the picture of the Greek god, and he was sort of looking over his shoulder, and he had big hair, and he had like a beard, and like there was a hairy chest as well. Like Antaeus is like that, but it's like Balenciaga Pour Homme much more.
This is very gentlemanly, very gentlemanly.
Yeah, it's much more classic, but like a little bit more
tie, top hat, cane.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, but you'd still be like big with it. You know, you'd still be quite masculine with it as well.
Absolutely.
I'd love to smell it on a woman. I just don't know how it would. I don't know how it would work. I'd be very interested to see how it would work, but I don't know. Like I couldn't. Like I'd struggle to guess at how it would work.
Very bubbly, soapy. I get soap bubbles. Very rich, but clean.
Yeah. I can see that. Sheer. Not fresh, but because I think the patchouli and it's very, excuse me. Oh, I think the patchouli and it's very dynamic.
Do you find it scratchy?
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Very
Not
clean patchouli.
Yeah, very, very, like, there's some funk to it, though. There's a little bit of funk.
Like the tiniest amount. I want to say there is, like, it's clean, but there's just like the tiniest a bit of something dirty.
Dank. Yeah,
that
like
could be
dank.
like labdanum or something.
Yeah, it's got this dankness. You know, it's got this kind of, not like a little bit of like wetness, you know?
Like I'm going in there looking for castoreum, looking for civet, but I'm not really finding it.
No, it's the musk. Excuse me. Like musk, there might be, like you say, if there's ambergris in it, could be
I
have a
think
little
it's
bit
more
of
ambergris than anything else.
yeah. It's
The pissy honey. I
there is
get
a
way
pissy
more
honey.
honey from Pavarotti put on.
I love fucking Pavarotti. It's a certain type of honey though. Like I've nearly finished that bottle of Pavarotti pour on. Like that'll be insane considering it's a 125 ml bottle.
Dude, that's gonna be in 2 years, it'll be going for $500.
And I've got fucking loads of them. Thank God. And what the thing is I won't sell it. I'll be wearing that shit. You know what I mean? Like I'll be wearing that shit. Absolutely. I fucking love it. You can't not love it. It's hard to find now as well. Like it used to be fucking all over the shop.
Anuj used to have tons of it, but every time I go in, it's always sold out. I always look for it for some reason wherever I go, like into these vintage discount shops.
Yes.
I was like, do you have
I think Catherine might still have some. I think Catherine might still have some at Le Parfumier, but I don't know what she's charging these days. Their prices went up. I haven't spoken to Catherine for a while, actually. I should drop her a message and see how she is. Let's see what's happening. Oh, God, it's midnight. I'm going to have to bail, or I'm going to fall asleep on stream and snore.
All right, man. Cool.
Thank you very much for having us. I hope everyone has had a good time. I will continue to listen if you're going to stay on.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Are you going to take people into the garage and show them the palette?
I mean, if they want to see it,
everybody wants to see it. I mean,
it's a garage. There's nothing to really see. Give me 1 minute before you go.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody here knows who you are, but if they haven't, go over and please subscribe to Rich Mitch. There's his channel link. A channel full of information, golden information, vintages, rare perfumes, discontinued perfumes, anything that's impossible to find.
Yes.
That's his shtick. The backup king.
Yes. And I'm having sales as well. So if you live in the UK and want to buy anything outrageous, I'm selling off some stuff. But not to worry, no pressure.
Oh, I just Anuj saying Anuj says I've made a decant of Balenciaga put home for you sitting at the store. Okay, awesome.
Yes, he told us there is some goodies waiting for you at his store.
I love goodies. I love goodies. Thank you, Anuj. Even though Ramsey's just sent, I don't know how much is in here. I don't know how to open these things with it. I don't want to break it.
No.
I'm not sure if it's just like, oh, here we go. Okay. There's probably like $500,000 here left, but yeah, I'll definitely try this. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
I will continue to listen, and I am intrigued by your palette. I will see you all again soon. Thanks very much, man. And well done. Congratulations on getting your palette in.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man. I'll see you soon.
I'll talk to you, buddy. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks for being here. Thank you all for being here. Share the link to Rich's OnlyFans. That's for me personally. What's up, Lewis? Good to see you. How have you been? What do you guys want to talk about? So I did pick something up. I did pick something up. Who knows what that is? We'll save that. We'll save that. It's been sitting here for a bit. And I got one of these as well. Has anyone tried this? Yes. Yes. I got a mini. Look at that. So I really like this flacon. In fact, I think it's the best part of the perfume. This is a 12.5 mil mini. Nice. I wonder if it's... Oh, and it's a sprayer too. Look at that. Sweet. But I love this packaging. I love the bottle. I love the shape. I love the way it fits in the hand. It's a very classic. It's very masculine with the sharp lines, the edges. Even the edges, there's edges, but they're very well rounded. Really like this. The fragrance itself, I think it's sad to see Hermès being the last of the French brands going this route. And after kind of observing the last couple of years, I almost think it's the reason that Jean-Claude has left, is he didn't want to be, he could see what was coming. He could predict the future, and he didn't want to be a part of this. He did retire. He left on his own. Says he retires, but he's still releasing perfumes for other brands. And the point he made about Hermès never doing an oud, right? He was very specific about never doing oud, never doing a trend. And the moment he was gone, it was the first thing that Hermès had released was an oud perfume in their private collection. So I think it's unfortunate because they're really the last one to go commercial, to go mainstream, to go mass appealing. And they're just following along with everybody else, all the other brands. Like there's zero creativity here. This was created in a boardroom with very little imagination, probably with huge market tests. Like I'm talking hundreds of people in auditoriums passed out like hundreds of thousands of scent strips and dummy proof to death. It's like, which one smells the best? The path of least resistance. I mean, it's not a horrible perfume, but it's just not very interesting. I'd love to smell it on my kid or one of my children, a young man, but it doesn't really excite me. It doesn't interest me a whole lot. Oak moss. What do they call it? A dense, high-tech moss. Okay. I mean, it's not blue. It's green. It's good in that sense that they're releasing green. It's a different color, but it's much more. It's very samey. It's same of everything else. Shite. If I'm being honest. But there's so many ways of looking at this, right? This is obviously me looking at this from somebody that owns hundreds of niche bottles, hundreds of designer exclusives, you know, some of the best perfumes in the world. So it's really unfair for me to compare it to the things that I love. you know, technically it's a great perfume. It works. It does everything you want a perfume to do. It smells good. It lasts. You'll probably get, I got a compliment on it. The first 5 minutes I wore it to work, somebody's like, oh, damn, you smell really good. And I was like, fuck, don't say that. That hurt my feeling. The compliment hurt my feeling. I want them to take it back. Take it back. Don't say that. But I'm glad that the dry wood, the bubblegum thing is, I mean, it feels like it's fading. The 1 million, the Ferragamo Uomo, the Polo Red, whatever the fuck it's called. But there's, you know, there's still an aspect of bubblegum here. There is that balsam. Balsams to me always remind me of bubblegum. Just not as sweet. So it does have that slightly balsamy bubblegum thing going on. Mint. I get mint from this. They only list 3 notes. I think it's clary sage, oak moss, scarline. But clary sage, scarline is from clary sage. It's one and the same. But I get mint. I find this a very minty perfume. Yeah, absolutely. Frank says, I think the target for this is younger men. No, I totally get it. So when I say it's just not for me, it's not for me. And it's not for me to say it's good or bad. It's just not for me. But I can see this will become the best-selling Hermes perfume ever made, ever created. This will sell by the millions. I'm talking the SA saying it's selling like crazy, like hotcakes. One guy came in and bought 4 bottles on his own. Came in one night, bought 3, came back the next day, bought another. Whoever you are, stop that. Somebody in Toronto bought 4 bottles of H24. Mint and melons, absolutely. Yes. Melon. I almost thought, if I'm dead serious, my first thought was pineapple or mango. It was a very synthetic fruit note, almost like a fruity bubble gum with that balsam, like an aloe vera balsam. Very uninspiring, just like aloe vera. Show the parcel. It's a massive parcel. I'm not sure what else I have in the garage. Give me a moment. You know what, though? I know a lot of enthusiasts, hardcore enthusiasts that wear tons of vintage, and they love H24, and that's okay. You know, it's clean, it's soapy, they call it a fougere, and I fucking struggle with that. To me, it's much more woody floral musk. And the fougere is obviously very different than the fougeres that we know. Somewhere I saw them calling this a fougere. Vegetal power. It's all, I don't see woods. I don't see like a forest floor. I see, when I wear this, I picture like an illustration of a full forest floor, like a pastel-y sketch. Like, yeah, like an illustration, like a computer animated sketch of a full forest floor. Not something that I would find out in nature or in real life. Doesn't smell real. It is, and it's becoming harder and harder to categorize perfume. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. Is that okay? Does that allow them to expand outside the box and to think differently? I think that's almost a must nowadays because of restrictions. If there's anything that makes this a fougere, though, all right, what the influencers won't tell you because they only know what's listed in the notes, is the geranium. That's probably where the mint is coming from. It's got this herbal quality to it, not unlike Platinum Egoiste. If you're familiar with kind of the way the geranium and platinum, the herbalness will morph. I get a lot of that here. Geranium, mint, maybe even some lime. Some synthetic citruses in the top. Lemon, bergamot, lime. Fresh, clean, soapy. Uninspiring. To be honest, I think I like the EDT better than the EDP. Clean metallic musk. No, but I like the idea that, you know, genre shouldn't be specific to one set of standards. I think perfumers should have freedom to introduce and use different things. However, I personally, what I want from my perfume as a human being that's connected to my emotions is I want something to sing to my soul, to open me up, to shine some light, to get my mind thinking. And I don't get this here. It's like, okay, it's nice, right? It's nice it's like the best thing I have to say about it. But again, it's not marketed for me. It's not created for me in mind. And again, going back to that high tech thing, high tech, like we're human beings. We're not artificial intelligence. You know, we are connected to our minds and our feelings and emotions, and we're not robots. We don't want to smell like robots. So what's this leading to? Are we scenting robots? Is that what we've become? You get tonka bean from this? If you said coumarin, I'd probably say okay, maybe. Melon jumps out right away. Like green honeydew melon. Very bubbly, soapy, again, soapy, but it doesn't have that thickness like Balenciaga put on. You know, it doesn't have that girth, the depth, the feeling. And I like that it's green. I don't find it so vegetal, though, like they claim. Like bitter. I don't find it bitter at all. I can't stop thinking there's a massive balsam in here. Okay. All right, let's show you the pallets and then we'll get out of here. let's show you the pallets. Okay, you guys want to see the pallets? Let me check the garage. Hold on. I've got a better idea. I've got a better idea than showing you the pallets. If you give me, I'm going to end this stream. If you give me, let's say 30 minutes, okay? Give me 30 minutes and give me 30 minutes and I will upload something and you will find it here. Go to the Les Abstraits channel. I got to bribe you. Go to the Les Abstraits channel and I will upload something there. All right. Give me 30 minutes. Less than an hour. I have something. I think they do list Evernol in here somewhere. Yeah, coumarin. Oak moss extrait. So, Evernia prunastri. A geraniol. Yeah, there's got to be a big geranium in here. That's where that herbaceousness comes out. All right, go check out Les Abstraits channel and I'll upload something there shortly. Anyway, what are my plans? Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. All right, and I'll drop the link. You guys can come on. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Rich, thanks for coming in. Talk to y'all soon. Have a good night.